Last month, a group of scammers successfully stole $240 million from a single victim. But their success was short-lived. This group of dweebs lasted about as long as Concord did because within a month, they were caught and assets frozen, two of them already being indicted, and it's all thanks to Zach XBT. This is someone I've talked about before. This guy is like Jason Bourne. If he's on your tail, your goose is cooked. Zach XBT is a scammer's worst nightmare. Him and CoffeeZilla I have the utmost respect for. They do incredible work with holding these pieces of shit accountable and catching them. And Zach XBT spearheaded this crazy investigation where he got everything. Like, he has probably more information on these guys than their own parents do. He's probably got all their fucking report cards from second grade till they graduated. It is wild. And there's also video footage of them committing the crime. These goobers got the biblical smackdown put on them by Zach here. And since there's video recording of this, we get to hear from them. And holy shit, you get to hear just how sad and pathetic these dweebs are. And Zach also got like some of their messages that they exchanged. And one guy tried to use all of the money he stole to get girls. And yet continued to get rejected by all of them, at least from what we can see. It is unbelievable how pathetic they are. Anyway, here's kind of like the general breakdown of what happened. On August 19th of 2024, they targeted a Genesis creditor by calling his Google support via spoof number to compromise the account, calling his Gemini support claiming the account is hacked, social engineered victim into resetting two-factor and sending Gemini funds to a compromised wallet, and then got the victim to use AnyDesk to share screen and leaked private keys from the Bitcoin core. He then also has some of the messages they exchanged about all of it. Reading through their messages, you can see that it's pretty much all social engineering. This is what hacking actually looks like for the most part. Very rarely is there a case where it's someone with fucking 5 keyboards surrounding them that they're typing on, injecting some kind of worm and code into the mainframe to hack. Like the way it's portrayed in the movies with like a turbo hacker man with sunglasses on typing away furiously. Usually it's someone just pretending like, oh yes, I'm Phil Cheeseburger on behalf of Microsoft support, you're compromised. That's usually how it goes. So like reading through it, what you can do is, please just take a picture of the last 4 of the private key. You can crop the rest out and just please take the picture for now. You don't have to send it anywhere. So like they're just giving lines that they can feed this guy to convince him to do what they need in order to steal his money. They're basically just choosing dialogue tree options in a Bethesda game to try and steal people's shit.
No way. No fucking way.
I see it, bro. It's on the blockchain. It's on the blockchain, bro.
No fucking way, nigga.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
No fucking way.
Yo! We're done! We're done! I'm passing out! Do you know how much money that is?
It's a quarter of a bill.
Probably. Spent 3 ways or is it 4 ways? That's
That's pretty pretty funny. Pretty 10 pretty funny.
I'm gonna lose my shit!
I can legitimately hear the Cheeto dust and fedora that the guy's wearing who keeps saying, probably a pretty penny. Probably like 10 pretty pennies. He sounds so fucking congested. Like I'm congested out the wazoo right now. But even I don't sound that bad, I don't think. Good lord, brother, holy. Dude just sounds like a wedgie magnet. It's actually baffling to me that they pulled this off and then had all of this evidence that they themselves gathered against themselves. Like, this is a private recording of them. You steal $240 million and you leave the biggest possible digital footprints. That's mind-boggling. Zach XBT claims that he has over an hour and a half of footage of these fucking goobers. There's also times where they slipped up revealing full names and other important information that Zach was able to gather. And the one I really want to focus on is Malone. Zach got some really good information on Malone because this guy loved to flaunt all of this shit. So he gets all this money and immediately starts spending $250 to $500K a night and giving out Birkin bags to random girls. There were girls on TikTok that were walking away from his parties just carrying Birkin bags, and I guarantee he didn't even get so much as a kiss on the cheek for it. This guy was blowing $500,000 a night to try and get laid, and I guarantee he's still a virgin. He even bought his crush a pink Lamborghini as well as 3 Birkin bags to try and lure her in and make her fall in love with him because of his money, and it doesn't work. He reaches out saying, I got you a present, we'll call it an early birthday gift, a thank you gift, I appreciate you so much, heart. And all she says is, I am taken once again, and he says, I don't care. Malone, I know you care. Dude probably fell to his knees, crying into his hands, all this money, and he still cannot get a girl to be interested in him. Seems like he's using every doubloon that he stole to try and buy a girl's heart, and it is not working for him. She just shuts it down immediately, reminding him that she has a boyfriend. Like, that's so good. She doesn't even say thank you, by the way. This guy must actually be a huge nuisance, like a big piece of shit. She doesn't even bother to try and thank him. He must always try and use money as leverage on people or some shit. Because she doesn't even entertain the idea for a second. That is so good. There is a part of me that hopes that she did at least still take the keys from him for the pink Lambo and then have the boyfriend reach out telling Malone thanks for the car. That would be the cherry on top. Now, Malone is one of the 2 that have already been indicted, so we get to take a look at this Casanova right here. This is the guy. We get to put a face to this pathetic douchebag. He was very public with all of his money and all of his spending too. So Zach XPT actually pulled up his Instagram and some of the photos on it where he'd flaunt the money that he stole and what he spent it on. Here's one from his Instagram page, which is unfortunately private now, so I can't peruse to see what other bangers might have been on there. But I love how, even in this photo, Malone is like the least visible person there. His 2 friends are front and center and Malone is in the background. Even in his own Instagram post, he is not like the main focus. This guy must have just been like a perpetual fucking loser, even in his own friend group. He gets hundreds of millions of dollars here, and still they don't respect him and don't care about him. They just use him for his money, and he is fine with that. That's the impression I get. Here's some more photos from his partying where he'd blow hundreds of thousands a night and buy girls Birkin bags. Anyway, though, let's talk about some of the others. So Zach XPT identified pretty much everybody here, so another one that also got indicted is Box. Now, Zach was able to find not only the information on these people, but also where all the funds were coming through, which led to a lot of the funds being frozen, as I understand it. I highly recommend you go to Zach XPT's actual Twitter page if you want like a full in-depth breakdown on how he did all of this. It's extremely impressive, and I'm too stupid to fully understand all the ways that he was able to pull this off. But what I do understand is that Zach fucked him. Like, he absolutely went wild on him. And now 2 of them have been indicted, and I think it's only a matter of time before the rest will also face justice too. Overall, though, after reading through it all, I'm pretty surprised at how effective this was from these snot-nosed weirdos. They didn't do anything particularly new with this. It seems like pretty standard by-the-book social engineering with the Google support phone call, that kind of shit. That's something people have done for years. The method by which they actually took the Bitcoin is pretty different. Like, I haven't seen that done before, but to actually get in the door through this social engineering method is something that has been done for so long. I am just kind of surprised that it still worked this well for them with someone that had that much money. You would think that they probably wouldn't fall for something like that, but what's been proven time and time again is that just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you're super fucking smart. So they got very lucky that their victim played along, even gave them screen control, and they took that money. And the victim is very lucky that Zach XBT was on the case to catch all the people here and maybe at some point even get the money back. But right now, the thing to celebrate is that Zach XBT has done an incredible job with this investigation, identifying all of the scammers here and getting them to face justice. Hopefully the rest of them will face it as well, so they'll join Malone and Box. And yeah, that's really about it. See ya.